I love Audible. I'm a huge reader, but I always want to read while I'm doing things you're not supposed to be reading while you're doing them, like driving, like walking. It can be dangerous. So
Yeah.
I really love to use Audible.
Yeah, Audible is great. I have been really interested in this book Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. That's probably going to be my next Audible experience.
Audible lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment in one app. You'll always find the best of what you love and something new to discover.
Try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappins or text crappins to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappins or text crappins to 500-500.
Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens. I'm Ronnie and that's Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Good, hon. Welcome to your show. How's life treating you, baby?
It's great. Had a lovely Rosh Hashanah weekend. Happy New Year to those who celebrate. And
Yes.
ready to dive into a week of shows this week.
Now, what's the way to say it?
Lashna Tova.
Shanatova, bitch.
Shannon.
That's what I've been saying all weekend.
Well, Shannon Tova. That's they said that Shannon got pulled over, but Shannon was Shannon Tova. That it was a simple mistake, and I'm just walking my dog. I'm not drunk.
Actually, just so you know, Shannon was not Tovad. She was not pulled Tovad. Shannon crashed into a home, which is
Well, that's a minor. Well, actually, it's more like the home pulled her over. She was just driving on a road, and that home leapt out. It's not her fault she got pulled over by a home.
I was like, who wrote this PR piece? Was it this like blurb for Shannon? Was it Archie? Because it said Shannon Bedore clips home. I was like, well, that's a very sweet way to put it. She just clipped it, guys. Shannon was like the supercuts of homes. She was just doing that home a favor, guys. That home had ugly bangs. Shannon was trying to help it.
We clearly will be talking a lot about Shannon tonight on Crappy Hour, which is happening tonight on Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram at WatchForCrap, and then follow the two of us just for the fun of it at Ronnie Karam and at Ben Mandelker. So Crappy Hour is the thing that we do where we go on to IG and IG Live, and we talk about what's going on in the world of Bravo. And this Shannon thing is wild. I feel like this is one of the wildest arrests since Countess Luann. So we're going to dive all into that. That's going to be at 5:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 on the East Coast, 7:30 on the Central, 6:30 Mountain. So come join us. We're going to have so much fun with that. And the way it's going to work is we're going to be talking, and there's a question function on Instagram. You just click, if you have questions, you just submit it on the question function, and we're going to try to read through a bunch of those questions on the air, and then we'll call people up to chat with us. So
yeah, we're going to do that for like 45 minutes. Yeah, and then at the end, we're going to have a speed round with you guys. You're going to have a minute to state your piece. Speak your mind. We look forward to hearing from you guys. We love doing that. And hopefully we can get pro enough at that to start releasing them as audio Bravo gossip type episodes, because there is so much of it tonight. I mean, Bethany in trouble for giving TJ Maxx workers gifts, Shannon's DUI, Brandy Glanville defending herself, the Lindsay and Carl breakup, some clips of Ramona on Turtle Time. Guys,
Lindsay and Carl breakup. By the way, we haven't even. Oh man, oh wow. So
have we even
much.
discussed that?
I don't think we discussed the latest.
I just deleted it, by the way. I just deleted all that stuff.
We didn't discuss the latest because Lindsay released her statement on Friday.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I've deleted all of this.
It's okay.
Ben.
Lindsay was very blindsided. So, and by the way, justice for Lindsay. But we're going to get into all that tonight. But for today, though, we're talking Real Housewives of New York. I would say almost like one of the tensest moments of the entire season happened today. It was shocking. They finally had a cliffhanger that involved a fight. Well, actually, no, they've done that before. They've had a few fights. They just sometimes have the cliffhangers that are like, and then I was stuffed into a box or something. And it's like, It's like trauma cliffhanger. You're like, okay.
Trauma cliff hangover. That's it.
Okay.
Now I don't know if anybody saw Andy post. They did the reunion this past weekend, and Andy came on to his Insta and was like, "Guys, we did it. I mean, we cried a few times. Everybody was crying. I mean, God, there was so much Kleenex, so many tissues. We did. I'm so proud of these people. Fuck off with this. So now I have to watch a 3-part reunion of you fucking people crying. Are you kidding me? Get over it. At this point, it's Trumpsturbation. You know what I mean? It's trauma masturbation. And I've had it with you people jizzing all over yourselves with your trauma. Okay? I'm over it. I'm officially over it. Now, that said, do love the show. I'm really having fun with the show. And I had a lot of fun this week with the show. It's getting me really riled up, which is what I need from a show. I just need more riling up, less crying. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
By the way, also go listen to our bonus episode, which is all about our personal traumas.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about being a fucking hypocrite? That's me. I think this show has really got me so mad about trauma that I'm like, guess what? I'm going to share my own trauma. So go to Patreon if you want to hear that. Trigger warning.
It was a lovely episode. Ronnie was bearing his soul.
It is very dramatic. But anyway, just wanted to acknowledge that I am a fucking hypocrite.
You're not a hypocrite. Listen, I don't mind if people share their trauma. It feels like sometimes on the show it's a little bit of the trauma Olympics. Like it's like, well, this is my trauma. Okay, now what's your trauma? Oh, your trauma's not good enough. And you're like, whoa, which is also very funny to me. The whole Jessel thing. Like I'm cracking up. I think like Jessel trying to have a tortured childhood is like ridiculous, but also them like coming for Jessel when she's just sharing like what her experience was is also ridiculous. So I do think that like this cast, now that they're like stuck together on an island, it is becoming more cohesive to me. Other people have felt it's been cohesive all along, but I definitely, I think it's, it's on the right path. But that being said, I did feel like it was not the most inappropriate thing to start the episode with a nice big image of a shipwreck, like just a boat, a rusty boat on its side. I was like, it is kind of this season.
They can't just show a trip. They can't just show a ship. They have to show a traumatized
ship.
Okay? The ship is wrecked. It's rusted. It's been left alone. I mean, this ship literally starts with a ship crying scene. This fucking show, I'm telling you. And I agree with you about people seeming more cohesive because they're stuck together. I think it's like family. A lot of people say love bonds a family, or good times bonds a family, or it's the family vacations. You know what bonds a family? Getting over how much you hate each other and coming together anyway. It's all the trauma of your family, of like what your parent, all the ways that your parents really fucked you up, and the ways that you were able to see that they're only people too and forgive them. Yeah. That's what's brought me closer together with literally everybody I know. It's not really the fun times, it's the shitty times that you kind of get over. So yeah, I agree with you. The wrecked ship that still just keeps on trucking. Perfect like representation of where we are.
Yeah, it was like some discarded Pixar character, like from some movie called Ships. But it was like the Mater. Isn't there a car called Mater in that awful movie Cars? By the way, awful movie. But
you know what? I will never watch the movie Cars. I never watched it. I never will watch it. And I generally love Pixar animation, but I wouldn't do it because guess what? Guess who I don't want to hear from? A fucking car. I've had it. Okay? Yeah. Listen, even Herbie had his limits. He honked.
Herbie was an asshole. I think that of like sentient car. I feel like we have Kit is like the best sentient car. Herbie is a brat. Christine, I feel like, is misunderstood. And I think that's about it.
You know what? Christine probably had some legitimate gripes.
I think Christine, I think that like now that we understand more about the patriarchy and we understand about some of the central, paradigms in our culture, I think if we go back and examine Christine, we'd all see that she was just trying to get by,
Yeah, Christine just wanted to live her life. You know what I mean? Like change her oil once in a while. You know what I mean? Like pay attention to your car.
She just wanted to get fucked by an SUV probably. She's like, I'm a horny car and I got these people in me and they're ruining my vibe,
Oh, Christine. I think Kit was so acceptable because David Hasselhoff was so fucking hot. And so Kit was like, hello, whatever you need, Michael. And I think the rest of us were like, yeah, me too, Kit. You and me both, bitch.
Kit was very coded gay, by the way. Like, Kit was like, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you. Okay, shall we do that? Whatever you need, Michael. It's like,
yeah, just very sexy. You know, Kit didn't just like drive you someplace. It's not like now where they're like, automatic driving, getting your Tesla. And the Tesla's like, beep, 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 coming close, coming close. No, it was like cool. It's like a cool one. It's like, Michael, I'm pulling the car out. And it would be like, boom, boom. And it was like 3 spin, like donut spins. And
So
then get you
good.
right in front of the TJ Maxx as you make your escape from the bad guys.
also
Kit
so
was so
sad that the
fucking
Batmobile is not self-driving, is it? Maybe it does self-drive in some parts, but like at this
I think
point, it should be self-driving.
You know what? I don't know because they keep changing the Batmobile, but this most recent Batmobile was so great. Like it was all murdered out. It was
that's
like
cool.
it had
cool.
wheels that were too big for it, and it was like I don't know. It just looked so good. It was kind of like a regular car, but like murdered out. It was a great
It
car.
had air
Great
conditioned
car.
seats. I feel like it probably is like missing a very obvious feature. It's like it's a great car, it's murdered out, but not air conditioned seats. Or like it's got like an analog mirror. It's like
Are there?
like Batman's like trying to pull up to the Batcave and he's like going to press the garage, but it's like fuck, I forgot I've got an analog mirror. It's not embedded. He's like looking for his clicker.
You always have to remember your clicker. Like Kit can do so much stuff, but can't open the garage. It's like, damn it, Kit. Come on. You just like literally flew me from Russia and then did a somersault through a lake back to my house and you can't open the garage. Like, no, Michael, can't do everything for you, you lazy fuck.
You know that kid on the weekends is like going to Ina Garten's house. Ina Garten's like, today I'm inviting over my friend Kit, who's a car, but also loves Banana Crunch muffins.
What are you going to make for us today, Kit? Kit's like, fuck off, Ina. I'm busy. Do you watch
I brought
television?
the flowers. You're the cook.
I would hope that Kit just wouldn't take any of Ina's shit. Okay, we need to get to this because this is
Okay.
a work day.
Yeah.
We are
So,
working. So we're in Anguilla
shipwrecks.
still, wrecked
Yeah.
shipped, wrecked ship. Sai has a coffee on the balcony. Erin does a workout. You know,
Yeah.
I have to say, I give Erin a lot of shit on this show, and it's not going to stop today. Okay, it's
Definitely will
so.
not
Please,
stop
Erin,
today.
if you're listening to this, fucking stop it. This isn't for you. Erin even annoys me working out. I hate how Erin works out. She's doing one of those like body weight workout things where, you know, listen, I don't think you should have to buy expensive equipment to work out. Girl, do the body weight. She's just so unenthusiastic. She's literally doing this. She's like her hands are kind of moving up and then kind of moving down. She's like maybe doing a slow walk. Don't pretend to work out for the cameras. Go eat a fucking bagel in bed. I mean, this is pointless what you're doing.
Yeah, I got annoyed too, only because I haven't worked out in 2 weeks. And so then seeing her work out then made me feel shitty about the fact that I hadn't been working out. And I was like, fuck you, you're on vacation, don't work out. So then
I have no guilt about that at all. Love it.
I have guilt. But guess what? It's starting today. I signed up for a yoga class. So
Hey, that burns 500 calories signing up. Just the
Yeah,
intention to
was
sign
hard.
up for something burns the calories. I see.
It was hard. I had to put down my chocolate croissant, and I was like, I'm gonna do something to be good for my body. And then I went back to my chocolate croissant. So so Erin is exercising annoyingly. She's like doing it's like a P90X thing in the background. And then Sai and Bryn are in the kitchen, and there's one of the staffers of the villa. His name is Charm, which I was like, finally, this cast has some charm. And then he's sort of like in the way. He's not in the way, but the women are in the way of what he's doing. So he's like, oh, sorry. And then Sai's like, oh, no. It's just a couple of hoes hanging out. And I was like, groan. But then I realized they'd actually written hoes on the kitchen island with like breadsticks or something. Sausages
what were those?
Slim
Were
Jims?
those Slim Jims. That's what I was thinking they were too. So they're talking about working out. And so I was like, work out. I had to do my job this morning. So then we go to Ubah and Jessel talking about what they're going to wear today. Because the show is what you wear, saying woo, having a trauma and sobbing, and then taking selfies while you're saying woo again.
Yeah.
and talking about what you're wearing during those selfies. So they're doing that. And Bryn is coming to see Erin work out. She brings her some celery juice. And Erin's like, oh my God, did you bring me celery juice? Did you know that that's like the key to my heart? Can I just say, if we're going to make a list of shit that's wrong with this show, that's it. Whose key, whose heart is opened with the key of celery juice? Come on, man.
Yeah. That right there, that should have been a red flag for casting.
Fucking
of course,
Belvedere. That's how you open hearts.
yeah, and then Bryn, of course, she puts like the celery stalk in her mouth, and she's like,
Do you want the stock as well?
I'm like, oh wow, we're starting early. We're starting early with the Bryn with the Bryn shtick. So
Yeah, she's like,
Oh my God, look at me blowing the celery. Celery butter. Hey guys, fun fact, celery hand jobs are back in. People are really back in.
she's really exhausting me. Like last episode, I was like, this is the Bryn I like, and I was like suddenly like up on Bryn, and now this episode, I'm like, I can't. Like I'm exhausted with her manufactured for TV persona that she has going on. I'm sorry. When she's real, she's really cool, but there's so much of this like, oh my God, I'm gonna blow the celery stalk. And then I'm like, I get it. I'm over it.
so they're gossiping, and Erin's like, so like Jessel was so funny last night. I know you weren't at the dinner, but like literally hilarious. She's like,
Okay, what did Jessel say? Tell me will I blow this celery?
she's like, well, we wanted to know about her, right? So we asked her to open up, and then clips of clown music playing over Jessel's story, which is so mean because. Listen, Jessel's trauma may not be as like, you know, I was poor and abused or whatever everyone else's are. I'm not making fun of their trauma. I'm just saying maybe it's not as traumatic to people's minds as hers, but her parents still went through a lot. Her family went, like she was talking about serious stuff.
Yeah.
So for them to be putting clown music over it is not cool, you know? And
I
it's
think
like,
it's totally
it's not.
cool. I think
it's
totally
not
cool.
bad
This show needs
trauma.
more clown music in general, I would have to say.
It's not bad trauma. Here's what I'm saying. It's bad. It's a bad trauma pitch because that was not a serious trauma moment. They were like saying, okay, we don't know you. Pitch us your trauma and tell us if you're cool enough to hang in this group. And that was her moment to audition and really bring her traumatic moment. It's like the traumatic moment with Jessel. She just didn't pitch it properly. You know, she
Right.
did it in a kind of snooty accent. She did it like, then my parents traveled and then it was very difficult because my uncle had to take care of me. You need to work on your trauma log line, I guess is the short way of saying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like she lives with her trauma log line, so it's a little hard to, you know.
Pavet.
She's like,
It's not really a log line. It's more of a name.
it's more of just a log that lies beside me in bed and has fried chicken grease all over its branches. So Erin's like, you know, like the thing that like bothers me about Jessel is I feel like she hears your story, she hears Sai's story, she hears Ubah's story, and she wants to have the same story, but like that's not your story. And Bryn's like,
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to be like, oh, I grew up poor. You just have to like have something that can like outshine that. And so far, I haven't seen that. So sorry, Jessel.
She actually says, you don't have to be like, I grew up poor and I was smuggled into the country. Which I thought was an odd, weird. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but I was like, whose story was that? I want that story. And Erin's like, but it bothers me because like these are not comparisons you can make. And I was like, your parents didn't help you at all? I mean, my parents helped me and I can say it. And clip of Jessel being like, my parents didn't help me though, not one single time. I'm calling my father on FaceTime right now so you can ask him. Okay, yes, he paid for my college, but other than that.
she goes, yes, he paid for my college and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, all that stuff. You know, like it was just like a stick of gum and, you know, 4 years of tuition. But, you know, like generally speaking, my parents did nothing for me.
And Sai's like, well, I would love for somebody to help me. My God, I wish that I had someone to... Didn't you marry a rich person?
That's the thing.
That is so rich that he literally doesn't have to work anymore. Like, give me a fucking break. You are privileged. So if you have a certain amount of privilege, you're not allowed to complain about your trauma? Or is it like when you got your privilege? Because you're pretty privileged at this point. So are you only allowed to complain about your trauma pre-privilege?
Are you going to be Are you okay with the fact that your children are gonna probably have the same kind of stories as Jessel, because that is the trajectory they're on. All their children, right? Because they're all growing up in privilege now, the kids, which is honestly it's fine, but it's just funny. I hate like, I mean, Jessel does herself no favors because she does kind of try to make it sound like, when you say, I had nothing growing up, absolutely nothing. I mean, sure, 3 square meals a day, and I had an allowance, and, like, occasionally when we're at the country home, I did, get like $10 to go buy myself an ice cream from the local store, but other than that, no money whatsoever. So, yes, she does sound like an idiot, but also, like, Sai is very much about, like, okay, so this is where it was tough for you. Okay, it was tougher for me. And I'm like, I don't think that's how sharing should be either amongst friends.
Hey listeners, you need to know that Wondery's shocking true crime podcast Over My Dead Body is back for a 4th season, Gone Hunting. This newest season covers the story of Mike Williams. It was Mike's 6th wedding anniversary when he set off on a hunting trip into the gator-infested swamps of North Florida. He figured he'd be back in time to take his wife Denise out to celebrate, but he never came back. Friends and loved ones feared he met his fate through bad luck and a group of hungry alligators, leaving his young family behind. Except that's not what happened at all. And after 17 years, a kidnapping, and the uncovering of a secret love triangle, the truth would finally be revealed. Enjoy Over My Dead Body, Gone Hunting on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Over My Dead Body early and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Get started with your free trial at Wondery.com/plus. I want you to picture Steve Jobs tinkering with a computer in his garage, Walt Disney drawing cartoons for his high school newspaper. Every big moment starts with a big dream, but what happens when that dream turns out to be an even bigger failure? Each week on Wondery's new podcast, The Big Flop, host Misha Brown is joined by different comedians to chronicle some of the biggest failures and blunders in pop culture history. Each episode will have you thinking, why in the world did this get made? From box office flops like Cats the movie, to Action Park, New Jersey's infamous theme park that had countless injuries, many lawsuits, and rides so wild it became known as Class Action Park. Or Quibi, that short-form video platform with an even shorter lifespan. It's a story of a spectacular failure with lots of surprises along the way. Enjoy The Big Flop on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to The Big Flop early and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Get started with your free trial at Wondery.com/plus.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial. It's not a traumatician.
Yeah.
What do you say? Like, how do you say it? Like, I guess people say trauma Olympics or whatever, but yeah, it's not a competition to see who's like hurting the most, And Erin's like, well, okay, they paid for King's College, so she kept on going and going, and just saying like her parents would wouldn't let her come to New York, so she like, oh, I had to live with my uncle and I had nothing. So I was like, Sai really opened up again because Sai can open up because she grew up poor, so like when she does it. It was like really opening up again. And she was like, listen, you lived with your uncle. I was homeless. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like, I
Your
think it's
big
so not
trauma
fair.
last week was you worked at Sears, which is fucking offensive to anybody who is currently working minimum wage or has worked in the past in service or whatever else. Like, I don't want to hear that from some rich lady. Like, you want to talk about trauma? I actually had to work at Sears one time. It's like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah. And so then we go back to last night at dinner, and Jessel's like, there's a point where I had $20 in my bank account. I'm not even joking. Oh, it was $20 plus about another $100,000 that my parents put in there. But like pretty much just $20.
I mean, it's not like it was my savings account. It was my checking account. Do you know how difficult it is to take $20 out of an account when they cost you $2 to take it out from the ATM in the first place? They don't let you just take out $18. I was basically broke.
So then Sai goes,
Yeah, well, there's a point where I had $0 and 0 cents. I was negative $498. All I ever had was overdraft. My life was overdraft. Do you know what it feels like to have $0 and 0 cents? No money, no parents' cash to cash in. I have no parents to house to crash in. Having $20 in a bank account would be a dream when I was young. It would be a dream.
I'm like, okay, I get it. It was very rough for you, and that's terrible. It's amazing that you overcame that. But honestly, if you have $20 in your bank account, that's also not a lot of money. That's very, very scary. And I actually think that's like a legitimate thing to, to be. I think when Jessel says, I was an intern and I only had literally $20 in my bank account, she's just saying, like, that's where I was. Like, I was like a poor young intern. And then Sai just has to come and just like shit on her $20 story.
It's like, congrats, Sai. You're the gold medalist in the Trauma Olympics. Congrats. You're going to be on a box of Wheaties, and your ass will even complaining on the box cover. Like, what? Are you serving me a cereal? What, you call this food? What is this? What I'm getting? Wheaties? Great. I want a whole cereal box to just get fed Wheaties. Like,
Wheaties?
Is that it?
Do you know?
Can I be a gold medalist on like a caterer box? Can we do that? Can we try
When
that?
I was a kid, I used to chop up rats and put them in puddles on the street, and that was my cereal.
So you're rich now, and you're sitting here complaining that you're not getting the same victim points, and it's gross watching rich people complain that they're not getting victim points. Like, for someone who constantly complains about food, you have zero taste. Okay, read the room, lady.
Well, she probably feels guilty. I would not be surprised if there's some like psychological element where she kind of feels guilty that she's like very wealthy and well off now, and that she almost has to like,
Remember,
like,
I was
she's
poor.
probably
Remember, I was poor.
Yeah, there's probably some inner
Remember?
conflict that she now does live in a life of privilege when she used to not live like that, and so maybe it probably is triggering to be around all like this. These discussions probably trigger something inside her. Either way, whatever's being triggered is bland and boring. So I don't care.
Your triggering is boring. I'm bored.
Trigger is boring,
I'm now.
Sai.
You have officially reached the triggering threshold, and I'm now bored with your being triggered. Now, that being said, just not saying anything about what she's actually shared being stupid or anything like that. It's just the competition that's like too much.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the chef cooking, and Jenna gets a plate and joins Sai and Bryn, and it's windy, and her dress, her like robe or whatever blows up, so she has to like cover her vag. And Bryn's like,
I just saw Jenna Lyon's vagina.
and
Bryn loved that.
this is where she starts her love affair with Jenna Lyons.
Jenna Lyons. Hey, I want to make an announcement, by the way. For people who are listening to this podcast, continue listening. Everything is fine. But we just realized we didn't hit live on the video. So I'm going to hit live on the video now. And I'm just going to let the video people know that we already had started. And that if they want to hear the first part of the podcast, they can go listen. And that they're going to... Okay, so I'm going to hit it right now. Is everyone ready? Everyone ready?
Yeah, just hit live. You don't have
Yeah.
to hit the intro.
No, I'm not. I'm just hitting live.
Okay.
Hello, Watcher Crappens. Video people, guess what? We forgot to hit record on the video, so we already started the podcast, but don't worry, you haven't missed much. We've talked about Kit from Knight Rider, and now we're complaining about Sai, but we're literally only 30 seconds into the episode. If you want to hear anything that you missed, just listen to the audio part first. But anyway, okay,
For
we're all back
real.
in sync. Yay!
And that was my fault. And we were talking 24 minutes, but literally about nothing. But yeah, we were talking about Sai being in the Victim Olympics and trying to compete. So basically, everybody is gathering now for breakfast, and Ubah is talking about how Jessel snores. And Jessel's like,
Babe, Ubah, you're really going to do this right now? You're going to out me for snoring, are you? Oh my God.
talk about trauma, am I right, ladies? Being outed for snoring at breakfast, am I right?
Yeah, and so of course they like Ubah plays like a recording, and it's like Jessel really snoring loudly, which is I think actually pretty embarrassing. I mean, it shouldn't be because snoring is snoring, but like I can imagine being like, I don't know if I'm like this PR, I'm like a fashion PR lady who has women who have like clown dots on their face showing up at my apartment from Vogue. I don't know if I want to. I don't think Anna Wintour would love to like just listen to me snore on national TV.
My friends did this to me on vacation one time because they were like, "Oh my God, don't let Ronnie sleep in here." They're like, "Ronnie, don't fall asleep on the couch because you're going to snore. We want to stay up." I'm like, "I don't even snore. Shut up." So they taped me and they just sat there laughing at me for 5 minutes. And honestly, not a cute snore either.
Yeah.
I snore with my mouth like wide open and my head like tilted. And then I just make this like. It sounds like you've called the plumber to take out 20 years worth of poop from a drain. It's like someone's strangling Donald Duck.
Well, I think the other reason why I got upset at them all like listening to the snoring and laughing at Jessel was also because I had the sneaking suspicion that if someone did this to Erin, she would be like, I think that's a total violation. Like, I'm sleeping. It's a natural thing that the body does. And now you're going to humiliate me in front of all these people? And I'm the cackling hag? Cackling hag?
Cackling hags. So Jessel's like, "What? It's not like it's a loud, ugly snore." And they're all laughing and laughing. And like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious snoring. Did you hear about the snoring? Oh my God, they're playing a thing about me snoring. Did you hear snoring? That's fucking ridiculous." They have like a good 5 minutes about snoring.
Yes.
And then Jessel's like, "Well, I am a little congested, I guess." And Sai's like, "No, girl, you snore. Jessel doesn't like to admit to anything, but guess what? She snores."
Got her, Sai. She's like, Jessel's like, I don't snore. That was, oh, you know what it was? You know what it was? Have you ever heard of a noise machine? Sometimes I have a hard time falling asleep if I'm away from Povit. So what I do is I put on industrial cranking sounds. That's all you heard. That's it.
So then Sai's like, "Oh my God, look guys, there's a boat. Speaking of, we're going to have an amazing boat time today. Do not wear heels, all right? Because we're going to have fun. Wear your hair, wear it real, wear it fake. It's going to get in the water because it's boat day with Sai." So now we get a picking outfits montage. The show really loves
Is it going to be the
outfits.
Poochie or the La Johnson? Big question. That's it. That was the question. Sai's choosing like, do I want to wear this? It's a Poochie. Do I want to wear La Johnson? So I was like, okay, great, exciting. Choose something.
So everybody gathers and starts wooing at each other because it's the show. They're like, "Oh my God, you look so good. Oh my God, you look so great. Oh my God, what are you wearing? Oh my God, it's the Johnson & Johnson. Oh my God, what are you wearing?
I love this bikini on you. It looks wonderful." So then they arrive at this boat. There's Nelson. He's the boat captain. And Sai is like,
If I'm planning the trip, was anyone not expecting me to get a boat? I mean, when we think of Sai, think of Lux, okay? I'm like,
apparently, do I? Because last time I checked in, you were saying, I was negative $498 and I worked at Sears and I was $0.0 and I used to use socks as underwear and I used underwear as also underwear too. It was a weird thing. It was a weird time in my life. I'm like, okay, so what do you want us to think about with you?
Yeah, fix your branding, babe. Because you also spent an episode crying that someone kept giving you so many gifts without paying you for the free gifts that they possibly expected you to put on Instagram. So let's talk about how luxe you are while you're sitting around waiting for free shit to be sent to you in the mail so you have a fucking wardrobe. Give me a break. And she's like, "Yeah, look at me. Like, look at this boat. Like, I want people, when they look at this boat, to be like, wow, this entire thing is edible." every piece. Just lick a piece. Okay.
to be fair, I ordered a gravy boat, and I actually accidentally got a real boat, so that's why we're here.
So Erin,
everybody's wooing and wooing and wooing and wooing and wooing and wooing. And then there's some more wooing.
Yes. And Erin is she's like she's making jokes about like at what point do we get to throw anyone in the water? Ha ha. Because earlier Ubah threw Erin in the water as a prank, which I'm shocked did not become a whole thing. But like, I thought Erin would turn it into a whole like, I mean, why would she do that? Like, I'm a mother. But I forgot that like Erin is in the mode of like selling that they're having so much fun together, which means that anything that happens, she has to laugh really hard and hold like a napkin to her eyes. We are real New Yorkers having so much fun right now. So good.
So she's like, "Yeah, well, yesterday, Ubah threw me in the pool, and that like leaves the door open to pranking. So doors open, pranking doors open. So yesterday we see the clip, and Erin's like, and now she's just like avoiding getting thrown in the pool. But it's just a matter of time, Ubah. You started the pranking. Dun dun dun.
Wow. Why does even Erin like? It's just amazing the different things that Erin can suck the joy out of. You know, pranking, boats, sunshine, the Caribbean.
Let's also suck some fun out of saying woo to each other and have another woo segment where they cheers with orange juice and everyone's like, woo, you look great. Woo, you look beautiful. Woo, we're on a boat. Woo, we're beautiful on a boat. Woo, we're rocking crazy on wacky, crazy edible boat.
And then Bryn is like rolling her R's or something, and she's sort of like across the table, getting up in like, she's sort of like really close to Jenna. She's like, and then she like licks Jenna's finger. She's sort of doing the Bryn. Like, Bryn is doing this whole flirty thing, like, I'm into you, Jenna, as if she didn't like 2 days ago spend a lot of time and energy like shitting on Jenna and getting mad at Jenna for flying business and complaining about double standards about her and Jenna. So yeah, that's the latest on Bryn.
Also, don't love when straight people do this to gay people. I find it annoying.
It's queer baiting, I believe is what it's called.
Well, queer baiting is usually when like a straight person will flirt, and this is just how I have known it. So argue with me if it's incorrect, but I've always known that to mean that it's like straight people flirting with a gay person, and then the second a gay person does something back, like, oh my God, Ronnie hit on me. You know what I mean? And then they try and turn it around and like make you look like an idiot or use it against you in some way. But I don't know if you need to take it that far for it to be queer baiting. But to me, that's what it means. But either way, this is just fucking annoying. Like, stop. Like, leave the one queer woman on the show alone and stop.
Queer baiting is
It's
a
gross.
marketing technique for fiction and entertainment in which creators hint at but do not depict same-sex romance or other LGBTQ plus representation. So I think like the version that you are describing is queer baiting, but also it's like queer baiting with a mix
Set in a
of
queer
like
trap. Set in a queer trap.
It's like queer trapping. I think it's actually queer trapping.
But I think trapping is queer, isn't it? Because that's like a kind of dance.
Well, there's trap music, but there's also like, but trapping is also that's also slang for like what's it called? Why can't I think of the word? You know, like trap house. You know,
Yeah.
like, but you know,
Yeah.
like
Like the old hooker houses or whatever, like back in the
yes.
day. Someone said,
Guys,
Brian,
we're so hip. We're so hip. No, it's to sell drugs.
okay, well, here's the point. I'm old. Okay, I get it. I accept it. I really don't like when straight people do this to gay people. It bothers me. It's annoying.
Yes.
So she goes over. She's like, "Do it, Jenna. Brr. Do it, Jenna, like this." Brr. And then she like sucks on her finger. She's like, and so I goes, "Oh my God, we're like 5 minutes from cunnilingus over here."
It's really some of the worst television I've seen all year. So then
You guys,
just that one moment. Not the whole show. This is one of the best episodes of the season. Just that moment. Nadir of pop culture.
So later, they're laying out, and Jenna plops
sea
down,
turtle.
and Sai's like, "So graceful." Yeah, we see a sea turtle, which is really exciting. And the
Really
captain
big
comes
on
out, and he's
Bravo.
like, sea turtle. Look, there's a sea turtle." And Sai's like, "Okay, let's go in the water so I can flap my big, insane, saggy tits. My teats.
What's your
tits."
trauma, sea turtle? What's your trauma? He's like,
Well, all of my brothers and sisters died before they could even touch the water.
yeah, but were they working at Sears? I don't think so. Get the fuck out of here, sea turtle.
Get better trauma, sea turtle. Learn to logline your trauma, you fucking idiot.
How
All
much
right?
money's in your How much money's in your bank account, sea turtle?
Well, according to Bank of the Underseas, I have actually about $12.
Oh yeah, I tried negative $498. Get the fuck out of here, sea turtle.
So some people are going swimming and some people are not going swimming. And Erin's like, "You guys aren't going swimming." And Ubah's like, "I would rather be around the food." And so Jenna gets in with them, which is surprising, but she wears her full Heather Dubrow scuba outfit
Yeah.
to do it.
I love all the parallels between all these different shows. Like, who would have thought 2 shows on at the same time where people wear scuba outfits to or wetsuits to go swimming? So, but
Just
Jessel,
like only Jenna Lyons could pull that outfit off. I mean, if I even dared, my uncle would leave me $10 in my bank account and tell me to unpack some fashion boxes. May I have a Kleenex, please? May I?
Oh, my best friend, sweet sister Jenna, I love this wetsuit on you. It's very sleek. It's like a Beaumont thing. It's just like, it's absolutely beautiful and stunning. We're best friends now. It's official.
Sai, just continuing her streak of intelligence on the show.
a great interview burns.
She goes, "Oh my God, Jenna, get that scuba outfit off, girl. Sharks are going to think you're a seal." What do you think that scuba outfits were invented for? The fucking ocean. That's where they go scuba diving. The fuck, lady?
The seals, I mean,
I've officially had it with Sai today. I've had it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I think
Get a better gay. Get a gay to show up for you. Please. You're killing me.
The sharks have given up on this boat. So Bryn's like,
I think that Jenna looks like a babe. Like full cover, boo. But like, I think it's still sleek and sexy. It's like celery that you can just blow.
So Jessel, Ubah, and Bryn stay on the boat, and Jessel's like, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't come last night, dear. Dear Bryn, I needed bodyguards because these 2 were coming at me, Erin and Sai." And Bryn's like, "Oh, so you got in that sandwich?" Even fight scenes, I have to talk about like sex scenes because that's my thing. I'm like, I'm really sexy.
I'm being guessed.
Sai and Erin sandwich.
so Jessel's like,
Yes, well, Sai asked me a simple question. Where did you first work when you came to New York? And I said, I'm living with my uncle in his 3-story penthouse in Manhattan, and I got my first internship, and I wasn't making any money, and I got my first job, and I was able to move out, and they were like, how long did you live with your uncle for? How long this? How long that? How much money did you make?
and Ubah's like, yeah, they wanted timelines. It was not good. And so Jessel's like,
They wanted dates, they wanted everything, they wanted receipts, actual physical receipts from ATMs.
And Ubah's like, yeah, and they weren't taking anything she said as truth. So Bryn's like,
Okay, what do you think they were trying to get at here?
and she's like, well, I think Erin thinks I'm lying about the fact that I grew up with nothing. I mean, why would I lie about that? I feel like Erin's like, oh, you come from a wealthy family, and it's just not true. And Ubah's like, yeah, and they just won't believe her no matter what she says. And Ubah is telling us, she's like, what is it in you to question what I'm telling you? You know, she said she had $20. Like, Sai's screaming that she had nothing, all, 20. Okay, so nothing and $20. It's the same. She goes, we're born broke, okay? Everyone who is born fucking broke, okay?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
By the way, this was my favorite Ubah episode because I feel like, she wasn't doing the like I'm so wacky thing. I think now she's like, okay, I'm on day 2 with all these awful people, and I'm cranky, and I'm dropping the wacky thing. I'm gonna start speaking my mind. So she basically is like $0, $20. No difference. So Jessel is like, I don't have to explain my shit to anyone. And also, if I'm explaining my shit to you, don't question me about it. I don't know what they want to hear from me. I'm a super rich Indian princess, and I have a fucking elephant and some man-child who comes home smelling like fried chicken and mayonnaise. I don't know. There's just no reason for me to be ashamed of coming from wealth. And if I was wealthier, I would be like, I'm fucking rich, but I'm not.
If I came from wealth, I'd be calling Tom Cruise to see if he wanted to come over and rub my shoulders. But I'm not fucking rich, which is why Pavitt needs to get a better job so our child can get into a school and meet Suri.
We just need our socially inept children to finally get into Montessori school and meet the Tom Cruise clan. We're okay with Scientology. We'll take it.
I don't even care if it's Montessori. listen, if it's Montessori, we'll sign up. That's really the only reason they need to be educated. So Bryn and Jenna are talking now, and Bryn's like,
Jenna, hey, Jenna, I'm sucking down pineapple juice for us, Jenna, for later.
because as we've all learned from Real Housewives of New Jersey,
Pineapple juice makes my wussy wet. It makes it sweet.
So Bren is like,
I'm a sucker for good-looking, successful New Yorkers.
so Jenna tells us, Bren
well, by the way, don't say that back to her, though. You know what Bren likes? Really successful, good-looking people. She'll be like, how dare you? How dare you spread that around? Have you read my LinkedIn?
I have worked for BP.
she's like, I don't want gifts. Okay, I want connection. But by the way, I'm really only interested in really wealthy people. I like successful New Yorkers. That's what she's saying, successful New Yorkers. So Jenna's basically like, Bryn is incredibly attractive and sexy, and we're on an island. Who knows what might happen? Actually, I do know. I'll probably go to sleep early and answer work emails in the morning.
She's like, but it's not a no, definitely. I like that she's just kind of rolling with it instead of getting annoyed by this, like I am. So Bryn is back at the table, and she's like,
Watch this, guys. I'm gonna get a ring. I'm gonna flirt with her so much that I get a ring. I can see it now. Bryn Lyons, the wedding invitations, credit card statements, the house.
And then Nelson comes over with cocktails. And then she's flirting with Nelson. She's like,
Thanks, Daddy. Can you just pour it in my mouth a little bit?
I'm, here, I am not a prude, but I just...
it's just try hard.
It's just so try hard.
Try
it's
hard.
Like really,
such a try hard shtick, and it's so sad.
It's so sticky.
So Ubah's like, well, just especially with her past couple of weeks of being like,
people don't take me seriously on Instagram. How dare you talk about my LinkedIn?
It's like, okay. So then Ubah gives her a lime. Basically, they're all doing this flirting bit with her. And Ubah's like, by the way, Jenna, Bryn has something to say to you. Jenna, say it, Bryn. And she goes,
maybe I have a little crush. It bottoms up, Jenna.
So then they're talking about how tonight there's gonna be lobster. And so Jessel's like,
oh, I'm so excited. Pilot Captain Nelson said it was lobster. And Brittany goes, wait, you think he's like a pilot?
And she's like,
well, they're the same thing. They drive things. I don't know.
And so, which is, by the way, not a great way to dissuade people that you grew up in privilege when you're like, pilot, captain, worker, doesn't matter. They're all people you pay for to do things for you,
Trust me, when you're a poor person, anyone moving a vehicle is called a pilot. We couldn't afford more words, all right? We couldn't afford a thesaurus. We could never figure out a Wheel of Fortune because my poor family couldn't afford a vowel. It was very difficult to grow up like me.
Ugh, you should have seen it when I was a child. How many times I tried to get my pilot pens to drive the car. My mummy would say, no, it's a pen. I said, but it's a pilot. It works for us.
So the captain's like, oh, we need somebody to drive the boat. And Jessel's like, I'll drive the boat. And Bryn's like,
I don't need to drive the boat, but I'll ride you.
It's coming on so quickly, this episode. It's like every single line.
Yeah, it is coming on quickly.
It's like, quiet, theoretical Bryn.
I just put the try is so hard with this one. Jesus.
It's too
so
much.
Erin's like, Jessel doesn't need to be operating heavy machinery when she doesn't even know the title of the person who operates the heavy machinery. Cackling hags.
Okay, well, Erin, this sick burn would be a lot sicker if you realized it was a boat, not heavy machinery. I'm sorry, heavy machinery is like working in a factory. A boat is a boat.
So Jessel's like, guys, I'm your new captain now. And no one cares. They like don't go watch her or anything. So she's like, how do I tip these bitches off the boat? So then back with Bryn. Bryn's like,
Guys, she came to me while you guys were in the water.
I was like, oh my God, can you take 2 seconds and just keep something to yourself?
know.
Literally, you have to tattletale to Erin of all people the second she gets back. Like
Yeah.
you just stopped fighting with the tattletale. Erin and Bryn are 2 sides of the same coin. They are the worst. And I
Yeah.
get it's like Housewives and it's supposed to be messy, but Housewives doesn't mean like hearing one thing and immediately going to tattle to start a fight. That's just
I
not
guess
what
it's
it
like-
is.
There's like
That's
fun
not-
messy and not fun messy, and they're like not fun messy. I can't explain
It's
it.
try hard messy. It's try hard messy. So she's like,
You guys, she was in the water. While you guys were in the water, she said that you guys were coming after her. I mean, talk about coming. I could be coming, right, Jenna? I'm going to sit on Jenna's face and I'll be coming too.
Erin's like, we weren't going at her. I said, just tell the truth so that way we can say why your truth is not as impressive as our truth. And
I was
so-
just calling her truth a lie. We weren't going at her. I mean,
yeah. And Bryn's like, well,
Well, she said they were getting very nitty gritty. And
Ubah goes, which is the truth? You guys were doing that. And Erin goes, because I wanted the truth. Have you never seen A Few Good Men starring
Tom Cruise, future father of my children's best friends. Yes, I have seen it. Sorry, I was listening in from the captain's wheel, pilot's wheel.
so now Jessel is back, and Ubah's like, okay, well, she told Bryn on you. So it's like,
You told Bryn we were going at you? What's up with that? She goes, no, I just said you asked me questions and I told you the answers and you guys were dissecting it all.
and so I was like,
Well, you know why? Because the answers weren't simple with you, Jessel, all right? Nothing is ever simple with you.
and Jessel's like, okay. And she goes,
Yeah, did you get help? Did you not get help, Jessel? What is it?
oh my God.
why does
okay.
it matter?
Why are you so upset about it? A. And B, she gave you answers. You just didn't like them. And C, her answers were, yes, audiobooks. They were audiobook answers. But it's only because you guys sent her into a tap dance because you weren't believing anything that she said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I get it because it does sort of sound like Jessel is trying to kind of be like, and this was my hardship too. And they're like, that honestly, you're trying to make it sound like it was hardship, just like you got to change your tone on that because like it's insulting to us who went through like real, like very intense hardship. If you're trying to put it at that level, it's upsetting. I get why they're upset, but at the same time, also if you ask someone like, "What's your backstory?" and they say, "Well, I moved to New York City, I was living with my uncle, and I was an unpaid intern. I was opening up boxes and it was really unglamorous, and I only had $20 to my name." Don't shit on that. That's a perfectly fine story. That is sharing what like you can't claim that you want to learn about someone and then just shit on their story, even if you do feel like tonally they are like they're reaching, you know?
So Jessel's like, listen, I told you I didn't get help. My father didn't help me. Did you not get that part? And so I was like,
The math is not mathing, Jessel, all right? I used to have to add 675 plus 675 plus 675 to even understand what I would make in a day at Sears, okay? That is math.
and Bryn's laughing, and Ubah jumps in, and she's like, well, to be fair, she did say that. She said that I wouldn't have been able to move to New York if her uncle hadn't helped her. So, I mean, she did say that. And Ubah's like, isn't it funny how these girls don't have an agenda with Jenna? Like, Jenna could say her mother was an alien, and these girls would believe it. But Jessel could bring her mom right to them and say, this is my mom. And they'd be like, we need DNA.
It's true. So Erin's like, you don't get what we're trying to say, okay? You constantly say my life was so hard and so hard. And Jess's like, but I'm not constantly trying to say that. And Erin goes, but you are. She goes, but that's what my reality is. No, it's not. Your life is not hard. You didn't have to grow up doing difficult things like sitting in conference rooms with coloring books while Brad and Gwyneth signed documents. That's hardship.
And she's like, yeah, your life wasn't that hard. She goes, well, I'm not comparing myself, but you are, because you had a perfectly fine life. And Jessel's like, oh, okay, so you lived my life. Who are these people? Who is Erin to say that? How do you
Erin,
know?
the most
You don't
privileged out of
know
all
what-
of them,
Yes,
is grilling this
Erin,
woman.
who literally was handed a company by her father. And by the way, a completely culturally appropriated name for her company. I don't even remember what it is. Do you?
I think it's called Trap House.
I don't even remember what the name of it was.
It was called the
but it was
Nelson Mandela Company of Real Estate.
fucking Erin, trying to decide who gets to have the most trauma. You don't know. Guess what? Rich people also have problems, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
they also have trauma in their lives.
This show is
Like,
warped
people-
up that we're sitting here being like, rich
It's
people
fucked
have it hard
up.
too.
I know, but it's fucked up. Like people from all walks of life have different sorts of traumas.
Yeah.
It's fucking offensive to sit there and tell somebody that they were true privileged to ever have any kind of a feeling, especially another rich person who's
Yeah.
trying to kiss the ass and be cool with somebody who worked at Sears one time. Like I can't.
Yeah, and again, like just know this: your children are going to be like this, and they're going to be their stories will be 10 times worse than anything you hear from Jessel. So Jessel is
God.
she's like, Erin goes, well, your life was so incredibly hard when you lived with your rich uncle. And she goes, I lived with my uncle. Did I say he was incredibly rich? I mean, sure, he had a yacht. Sure, he had a country club. But, it wasn't available every single day of the week.
He worked all the time. He was a little tiny man in a suit with stripes and a little monocle, and he would walk around a game board and tell little silver doggies what to do, or stop silver cars from pass and go and collecting $200. He worked very, very hard for what he had.
He was a humble man who had merely just a parking lot, but it was free parking for people. And he worked his way up, and he had a railroad that was so decrepit. It was called B&O. It was Body Odor Railways. Can you even believe it?
Listen, he wouldn't have owned Boardwalk. He would have owned Board Drive somewhere if he had the money to. You know what I'm saying? That kind of fool. And
People think Marvin Gardens is beautiful, but it's just weeds. People don't understand.
I mean, it's not like Marvin Hamlish. Now that's rich. So Jessel's like, do you know what
directly
your
to
name
jail.
should be, Erin? It should be Queen of Assumption because you just assume things about everyone. And Erin goes, a good one. By the way, while Erin says that, which she goes, good one, she's adjusting her dangling solid gold bracelet as they have a fight about who's poor enough to go. She's like messing with
know.
this giant gold chain on her. I mean,
And the sad part is that when Erin goes, good one, I'm like, unfortunately, based on what we've seen this season, that has been the sickest burn we've seen all season. Queen of Assumptions.
none of you are winning in that department this season.
This is not a good burn cast, I have to say.
So Jessel's like, Bryn was lying. Like, what the heck you guys are saying I'm lying. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? And Jessel tells us she's about to jump off the boat. And Jenna's like, I don't know why Jessel's story is bothering you so much, Erin. And she goes, because it's just so inauthentic. Oh my God, you just had a fake vow renewal for TV in a completely different season than your wedding date, okay?
Yeah.
And you pretended you'd never heard of WAP so you could get some awkward Karen laughs.
And none of you
up,
guys
Erin,
are friends and
okay?
pretending to be a group of friends. So let's not
You
talk
are the
about
most
inauthentic.
phony fucking person on here. I can't with you. Gatekeeper of pain.
So Jessel, I believe it's Queen of Assumption. Sorry, Ronnie. So Jessel, tells us what I think is the truest take. She goes, it seems like Erin is projecting her privilege onto me. Exactly. So Jessel's like, I'm not going to try to justify my shit onto you guys. And everyone's like, you don't have to. Well, then why do you care? I mean, did you grow up in a horrible situation? Like, what? Like,
What the hell?
Is this like admissions to get into like trauma Harvard right now? Do you have to get like an 800 on your like
It's fucking American Cridle. It's like American Cridle. Like you have to get up there and sob like they're auditioning your pain. It's making me nuts. So Jessel's like, you don't know where I came from. And Bryn goes, we don't. And Sai goes, yeah, that's why we ask. We ask. Even when we ask about you all. Well, my parents come from Kenya. And Jessel's like, well, is that not my story? And Sai goes, we want to know about you. Oh, really? So who we are has nothing to do with our history or where we come from?
Exactly.
You should talk about your mom more. Didn't you just have a whole fucking monologue about your mom last week? And what about Jenna's pain? Jenna's pain is all her mother. And what about Bryn's pain? Bryn's pain all come from her parents. Literally all the trauma queens on this show have based everything on their parents. But now that you've already used it, you're going to say that that's unusable? You don't get to just change the game in the middle of the game that you set up in the first place.
Yeah, and then Jessel's like, why are you lying? And Sai's like, because I can't get the point across. It's the same shit. And then
your point sucks. This is not Traumanopoly, okay? I'm not playing this game with you.
You know what this game is? Sorry. Like, you're sorry, and I'm sorry that I have to watch this. So Bryn is like, or as they say in Toronto, sorry. So Bryn goes, ooh, the Brooklyn came out of an Anguilla, a vein popped out. Like, are we in a boat or are we in the bodega? I was like, this really, I would not, it was just Sai raising her voice briefly. I don't think this was like the quote unquote Brooklyn coming out. So Jess.
Well, she did. No, the Brooklyn was coming out. She's like, nah, like she got really mad at her. I don't think it's cool to be like, are we in a boat or in a bodega? First of all, are like bodegas places that you go yell at people, because a bodega's literally a grocery store. So I'm not really
Yeah,
sure,
my bodega was always out of stock, so I don't even want to hear it.
And she's like, I'm getting out of here. You started this. You fucking started it. Don't act like you can't believe that everybody's mad. You literally got them all fighting.
Yeah, so Jessel's basically like, my parents are my story. And Ubah tells us, she's like, any generation, people share the story of their family, and you are who you came from. And it's shocking that these intelligent women don't see that. And it's annoying and actually quite embarrassing. So yeah, then now Sai's like, I'm done with this conversation because I don't care. I don't care. And then Jessel goes, okay, well, I don't care that you don't care. Great. Ha! Got it. 2 for 2 today. Queen of Assumption. And I don't care that you care.
Good one. So I was like, okay. And Jessel
actually does have a good one. Jessel goes, well, because Sai goes, we're totally having a great fine. I'm having a great time on the water. And Jessel goes, me too. I mean, I just drove this fucking not yacht.
All right. So that brings us to the end of part 1.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Stroll in the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Erin McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg. Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Nancy Cease and Desisto.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain. She's quite the catch, it's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com.